Hello, everyone. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the co ownership model. And this is for single family rental homes. I'll take about 20 minutes to present my presentation, and then we'll open the floor for discussion, question, answers, and whatever additional information you may need. So my company, Big Leap Investing, is behind this venture, which is promoting the co-ownership of single-family rental homes. This is simply a model where uh, people will be able to buy a specific percentage share in a single-family rental home and enjoy the cash flow without getting any overheads of managing the rental property. So let's talk about why specifically single-family rentals. Uh, it's one of the biggest contributor to passive income in this country. So a lot of people have ventured into single family rentals and creating their parallel income through these rental properties. And this is one of the most tax friendly income as well. Furthermore, one of the biggest contributor to generational wealth is through rental properties. People do acquire properties and hold them for long term and then eventually pass it on to their next generation on a step up cost basis. So this is a great advantage in that sense. So another way look at it is a lot of people put single family rentals in as their contingency funds because typically you can sell any single family rentals within a time period of 30 to 60 days. If you have emergency of a shorter nature, then probably it cannot help, but you can always access the equity through loan programs or you can sell the property within 3 to 60 days. So it's a kind of good accumulation of wealth, which is also available at your disposal whenever you need it. And obviously, when people are retired and they don't want to do anything actively, this is one of the source where you can keep generating income and you can off, outsource the operations of the rental properties to anybody who is competent and active. But you can continue to enjoy your retirement income in a tax friendly manner. So these are some of the compelling reasons for getting started into single family rentals. And this comes from my past forays into single family rental and building a lot of uh, kind of portfolio in my own sense for the last few years. So I had been doing it in a real estate sense for last 20 years. And for last 20 years, I had been investing in multiple different real estate segments. Single family rentals had been one of the biggest segment that I had been investing in, and it is as of this point I do have properties in 10 different states, and I'm generating a cash on cash which is more than 15%, and I'm totally managing my portfolio remotely using technologies, using processes, and a in-house team supports me. So it's a very efficient running machinery that is working for me, and this is what I kind of bring in as an expertise and as a kind of running machinery to this venture. Now, taking it forward, these baby steps that I mastered over last few years, I want to kind of convert that into a big leap, not only for me but for many more people who want to join this kind of mission. So I launched Big Leap Investing LLC with a mission to democratize single family rental ownership. What I mean democratize here is that not everyone has to get involved in all the operational process, but still they should be able to kind of be the owner of the property. So typically in a democracy you elect representatives to run the day to day affairs, but you still belong into the decision making class, and you still own your stake in that whole democracy. So here, you own the single family rental property, but you let a chosen one to kind of manage the property for your benefit. One of the biggest advantage of democratization is that it removes the barriers, particularly the barriers related to capital, because not everyone has the big capital to buy themselves, and it removes the barrier related to your visa status with respect to your working status. You may be a busy professional, you may be one who is in a kind of temporary visa situation, so you all can still join in this kind of program and enjoy the uh, benefits of a single family rental home. Thirdly, there is a big risk and liability associated with any single family rental property. In fact, any rental property carries risk and liabilities. Not everyone is geared up to manage those risks and liabilities, and not everyone can feel comfortable. So there is always a structure available, and that structure can create an effective shield for individual owners. And that's what big leap investing is bringing, that as individuals, you all will be protected and shielded from these risks and liabilities under this holistic asset protection strategy. And the last but not the least, is the mission is to create significant parallel income, which doesn't bring any of overheads to you. And over a period of time, you probably will be able to generate enough income that you may continue to do your W2 job in uh, peace, without getting bothered about the layoff situations, without getting bothered about changing market dynamics. So this is one parallel income that probably will continue to run. And US is a country where rental properties are going to be increasing in demand. This is a country where everybody from every uh, country come wants to come and settle here, but the land is fixed. So the only asset that will continue to have a uh, kind of demand is real estate, and not all people can afford to buy the real estate. So their only option is to kind of stick with rental properties, and that's where we will kind of take advantage of. So after launching this bigleapinvesting.com, I kind of nailed down certain core values that are non-negotiable, and I personally am very focused to maintain those core values. Honesty, whatever I say, whatever I do, including my team, we will be completely honest in our conversations, in our actions, and in our commitments. No overcommitment, no undercommitment. It will be as transparent as it could be, and all access to information will be equal to all the co-owners. So there is no segregation of privileges with respect to access of information. We will maintain the complete transparency in every micro details of the operations. And third is the people first approach, where we will be very empathetic to the people and their situations. And the people involved here are not only the co-owners but our tenants. So we want to create an organization where our tenants feel very connected to our way of working, and we have prolonged tenancy. So uh, for this organization, our tenants are our customers, and we want to keep receiving our rents, and we want to have loyal tenants. So our focus would be on our tenants to have very longevity relationship with us. So what we bring as a company to everybody is our expertise as a service. So my expertise individually over the last 20 years playing in real estate segment, experimenting in different domains within real estate, that comes as a service packaged nicely with a bunch of technologies and processes crafted for this business model. So overall, this expertise as a service will create pathways where anybody can become a single family rental ownership with very low entry barrier and very little overhead. So each single family rental home that my company is going to buy, that will be open for co-ownership. Ownership will be done through a LLC membership. So you will become a member of the LLC, and that LLC will be owning the particular single family home. Now, how do we manage the whole aspect of single family home, right from purchasing it to running the operations and generating the cash flow? That will be, I'm a technology guy. I spent last 27 years in uh, software industry, building various kind of products and solutions. So I have kind of assembled my own technological pieces together, created a set of integrated workflows and processes, and now I'm managing all these operations in a semi autopilot mode, wherein I leverage the power of the people, the power of the processes, and the technology solutions together to run this whole operation so that it's most efficient in terms of generating the cash flow. Now, so this is a kind of quick view about the democratized ownership and centralized operations. Uh, this picture may not be conveying the complete microscopic details. So I have captured all these details in a written document which is shared in Google Drive. Uh, you can read it at your own leisure, but the central theme is that uh, my company, Big Leap Investing, kind of is responsible for the four stages of this whole process, which is the discovery of the right properties to buy, analysis of whether it's actually meeting the criteria or not, and this analysis is a three-stage analysis through which we finally figure out that yes, this is the right property to buy. And the acquisition is the complete process of negotiations, due diligence, and closing the deal. And finally, the operations, which includes not only the property management but also managing the asset with respect to uh, uh, negotiating with the county for lesser assessment values for taxation purposes, negotiating with vendors to get the most cost effective property insurance, and kind of running the property with right kind of upgrades and right kind of renovations at different point in time. So how it works is that any single home that we identify and we buy, it actually is closed in a LLC which is created right for that home. So if the property address is say 1234 Main Street, a LLC would be created which is 1234 Main Street LLC, and this LLC will have no other business except being owner of this house and running this house. Now, in this LLC, up to 90% of the ownership will be diluted for co-owners, and minimum of 10% will be retained by Big Leap Investing, and Big Leap Investing will run all the operations for this property and will continue to manage the cash flow distribution to all the co-owners. So this is how the structure would look like, that multiple people can be co-owner in a single home, and one single person can become co-owner in multiple properties. There is one common co-owner, which is Big Leap Investing, and as we are co-owners, we are equal. Our percentage ownership may be different, but our privileges are exactly same, and all of us together will authorize uh, Big Leap Investing to act on the decisions taken by the majority. Any major decisions about the property will be decided by 75% co-owners, and whatever that decision is, that decision will be executed by Big Leap Investing as kind of dictated. So the four steps in this whole journey is discovery, analysis, acquisition, and operation. Discovery is not simple because we buy properties all across USA. We have a very stringent buying criteria. We build our relationships with different market realtors and online channels to solicit those deals. And then once we get those deals, we put it into a three-stage funnel analysis for figuring out whether this is a right deal for us to invest or not. And once it is identified as a right deal, then offers are negotiated, inspections are done, appraisals are done. We negotiate based on the inspection and appraisal report, the revised pricing. Then the whole process of closing the property as quickly as possible is done. Since we buy the properties using 100% cash, we get a better leverage than others. Our negotiated rates are lower than the market value of the property because we are closing it in uh, the closing it with cash, and that basically eliminates a lot of competitors. So now, after we close the acquisition, it comes to the operations, and that operations include, as I told, at a very simplistic level, it looks like collecting rent and managing tenant communications. But holistically, what we do is we proactively work with county department to lower the tax value, because most of the rental properties do carry hypothetically high taxation. So we try to negotiate with the county officials to bring down the taxation value. Then we use a kind of national player for buying the insurance at a very effective rate. And the insurance that we buy not only carries the hazard risk but also carries the liability and loss of rental income. So as an aggregate of the portfolio, we get a very preferential rate in terms of the insurance premium. That's an advantage. And obviously we manage all the maintenance issues using our pre-established network of vendors and software solutions. So that basically kind of optimizes the whole operations in terms of generating better cash flow. So this all responsibility is Big Leap Investings, and the team in house manages this. But you, as co-owners, will have complete access to the information. You will be part of the property management solution, and you can see every micro details that I or my team sees. So again, we are completely transparent organizations to our co-owners. Here is a quick view of our buying strategy. This buying strategy is uh, carefully crafted after we have uh, kind of done this operations for almost 20 years. So my primary focus would be cash flow. It has to generate minimum of 8% cash flow out of the gate. That means in the very first year, I should get 8% cash flow. And then as I operate the property efficiently and as the rental value grows, this cash flow grows year on year. So to begin with, 8% is what you can expect. And then because it's a real estate, so you do kind of anticipate appreciation. So I look at appreciation from a point of view that these properties are a long term hold, probably 10 years, 20 years, and probably will transfer it to our next generation. So we basically do not want to liquidate anytime soon, but still we expect that the property should get at least 2x in 5 years. And if we buy properties under $200,000 purchase price point, I have successfully established that all my 21 properties that I hold, they are meeting these criteria. So mostly I stick under $200,000 purchase price point, but I prefer more around 150K because that's where the most lucrative cash flow comes out. My preference is always single family detached homes, but we may consider townhomes. Sometimes townhomes have their own issues and it's not as best a rental property as it could be, but we look at case by case basis. I try to avoid older house. I always look for the age of the house and age of the appliances, roofs, and systems and all that. But strictly no to properties built 1980 or earlier. Uh, Sometimes I do carefully evaluate properties in 80s as well, but I think up to that point is the far extreme that I go. Layout is generally three bedroom, two bath kind of layout with minimum of 1,000 square feet. This is ideal for a very small family. My tenant profile is to have those small families which are stable jobs. They should have at least 3x income to the rent. I don't want to rent to people who are just making hand to mouth kind of situation, or to people who are very, very uh, mobile in terms of their jobs and all that. I do not buy properties which fetch rent less than $1,000 because there I see a lot of trouble in terms of delinquency, in terms of evictions and all. So most ideal for me is a rent of $1,200 plus, and the best cash flow for a 150K home comes when the rent is hitting about 150K, about $1,500. Again, because we are focused on small families, we look for safe neighborhoods. We prefer not to have HOAs because for rental operations, HOAs sometimes create unnecessary obstacles. So with these criterias, I do get almost 8 to 10 deals every week to evaluate, and roughly 1 to 2 deals fit into my criteria. So my team continues to work, and right now we are running a target of at least 4 new properties purchased every quarter. And this gives me enough inventory to invite you guys to co-own with me and enjoy the benefits. Right now, there are 4 homes available for co-ownership, and these 4 homes are available. All the complete details for the homes as well as the criteria is available in this Google Drive folder. If you do not have access to it, just click on the link. It will come for a request to access. I will approve that in a very quick turnaround time. But you see all these details available in that Google Drive folder. So these homes are there are 3 properties in Lubbock, Texas, and 1 property in Memphis that is right now open for co-ownership. The first home is 2632 Hickory Avenue in Lubbock. The acquisition cost here is 130K. Right now, it is being at the market price of 130K. You can get a 10% co-ownership for $14,444, and it is generating a monthly cash flow 942.50. So this cash flow is pure income. It include exclude it is after factoring in all the expenses of this property. The second property again in Lubbock, Texas is 2201, and all these are new homes, right? Built in last 3 4 years only. This property, we are yet to close it. It will be closed on 29th of March or before that. It is generating a monthly cash flow of $782, and you can get a 10% share at $1,288. Third property again in Lubbock, Texas. It is generating $765 as a monthly cash. You can get a 10% share for $1,245. And this property is getting closed on Monday. All set for this. It is Memphis, Tennessee. Uh, Total acquisition cost will be $100,000, and it is generating a monthly cash flow of $915. You can get 15% share for $16,667. So these are the five homes that are available right now. But hopefully within next week, I will be adding at least one more house for co-ownership, and I will continue to bring more and more inventory. Right now, we are running a referral program and a kind of investors program for reinvestment. So these two programs are available starting today, where leaf forward investing means that if you are an existing co-owner with us, if you invest further in any other home, we will give you 1% of your prior investment value as a credit towards your next investment. And in the Leap Together referral reward, if you come along with your friend or anybody who wants to also become a co-owner together, so if you come as a party of two or more, then I'll give 1% discount to both. So that's basically Forward and Leap Together, and this is available starting today. So with these, I think that's all in my presentation for today. You can reach out for more details through WhatsApp, email, or join our Facebook groups and WhatsApp group for updates. Continue to ping me for any further questions or clarifications. And now this meeting is open for any discussion, any questions that you have. If you need any more information, feel free. This is a co-ownership wherein we are basically being equals and kind of trying to build a community of owners in single family rental homes. All right, open for everyone to question, to discussion, and any specific information that you need. All right, I got a raised hand from Rutuja. Please go ahead, unmute yourself and speak up.
Hey, hi. I'm actually speaking from my partner's phone. So I had a quick question. Let's say the rental property is owned by two parties, right? And who does the work of finding a tenant and making sure that the paperwork is done, lease is signed, and everything?
So all uh, all operations, not only finding the tenant, but anything and everything is being done by Big Leap Investing as an organization, and we have the complete process set up for that. So you are being a co-owner along with minimum another co-owner, which is Big Leap Investing. So you are a passive decision maker, and Big Leap Investing is the active contributor with a responsibility to manage the property.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm. All right, Raj Kishan, please go ahead. You have to unmute yourself, Raj.
Hi, Mukesh.
Hey, Raj.
Good to see you here. Anyway, so the question is, so big leap investing. Uh, is this also holding some share in it? As it as an investment also being made here, or is just the management part that's taken care of?
So Big Leap Invest, like to begin with, Big Leap Investing contributes 100% money to buy the property.
Okay,
So it's basically every single property is under 100% ownership of Big Leap Investing to begin with. Now, Big Leap Investing is opening that opportunity for others to come in and buy a share either during the purchase process or after the purchase is completed.
okay. So if I understand it correctly, so most of the property that you're showing us here, these are already under control of Big Leap, and then Big Leap is selling it out the share further to the investors here. Is that what it is?
Yes. So
Okay.
there are two properties which are already like in ownership, and two properties will be in ownership within 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, for the management part, property management. So, how is it decided? I mean, I'm sorry if I missed it before. what are the charges? What are how what are the what is Big Leap is charging the LLC for the management part, collecting rent, taking care of everything.
So Big Leap is not charging anything. Big Leap brings its expertise and its software systems to play the role. The only charge that every charge is actual, which is there is a software subscription charge of $15 per month for each property, and that is actually being built. There is charges related to whether tax filing of the LLC, whether formation of LLC, and any actual expense related to the property insurance, property taxes, all are transparently being managed as a co-owner by Big Leap and shared with rest of the others. So we all together will be owning up the expense and owning up the kind of income. Big Leap is playing the expert management role here, and for that, the upfront minimum 10% equity that Big Leap has is the only kind of uh, you can say compensation or remuneration that it has.
So if I understand it correctly, so $100,000 is being is the cost of this property.
Mhm.
So there are 10 investors in it. So it'll be not divided by 10, it'll be divided by 9, and 10% is going to Big Leap for basically finding, looking after, and everything. Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
So let's say I'll put it the other way. Big Leap buys a property for 100K. So Big Leap has invested 100K $1,000 in buying and stabilizing the property. Now, Big Leap wants to retain minimum of 10% ownership, but wants to claim back 100,000 funds from other nine investors. So whether we find nine, whether we find five, uh, you get 10% share uh, at the cost of 100,000 properties. So Big Leaf will retain, or in a scenario where all the 90% is kind of sold out. So that
Yes,
means Big Leaf has recovered all investment that it has made, and it has got the 10% equity just to uh, run the operations.
understood. Now, just to want, how would it work? Let's say if today Big Leap is fine that is involved in this. Down the line, then with few years time, 4 or 5 years, and you lose interest in this, and then just for the safety, investor safety point of view, how would we ensure that the property will be taken care of in good spirit and to the best of the interest of the investors?
So in my Google Drive, I have shared a operating agreement, which will be signed by not only Big Leap Investing but the co-owners. That puts the responsibility and kind of all the responsibilities onto Big Leap to manage it. If for some reason, let's say, uh, Big Leap loses the interest, then there can be a situation where, for whatever reason, Big Leap don't want to manage, and that's hypothetical, then we will basically lose our equity for the first. Secondly, this is not a one-off exercise. It is being run as a business. So it's as simple as like, what if Elon Musk loses interest in Tesla? What you can do? Nothing, right? But will Elon Musk lose interest in Tesla? No, because he has made it as its business. Big Leap Investing is in this business. If ever we lose interest, then yes, there is a risk for you guys. But if we are running it as a business, then there are strong financial and strategic reasons for us to continue being invested in each of the property.
Okay. Now this cash flow, last question, sorry, I'm not allowing other taking too much time. Last question. This cash flow that we're talking about, this is after all of the expenses taken out of the rent,
Yeah.
whether it's a property tax, whether it's the management fee. Management fees, this is not there,
Yeah.
as you clarified there. So that's what the investors get. If I $800 is the net cash flow in a month, I'm 10%, so I get $80 in my bank account. That's
Yeah.
what it
So
means.
this is essentially transparently shared, and in fact, for the March month, uh, my co-owners in one of the property already got their cash flow. The second property will get their share in next week. So there are only four fixed expenses associated upfront that gets into the cash flow, which is property tax, property insurance, $15 of subscription fee, and a annual LLC maintenance fee that gets billed every month. Except those four expenses, there may be situations when a tenant maintenance request comes in and that request has to have some kind of expense associated with it. It will only get reflected in the cash flow in that month when there is a service request. Otherwise, every month, straightforward, one income of rent, four expenses billed monthly, and you get a positive cash flow, whatever is reflected in my sheets here.
Okay. Understood. I think that's it from me. Thank you, Mukesh.
Welcome. Anybody else? Okay, so no, if no more questions, good. I'm always available for
Hello.
discussions. Oh,
Hi.
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Hi. In that fixed expenses, you mentioned that subscription fee and LLC maintenance fee, right? So, what would be the percentage of those fees? I mean, how much would be the overall? Yeah.
So the subscription fee is $15 per property every month.
Okay. So that is also can be called as a maintenance fee, or what is the subscription means?
It's a like all the property management solution or the tenant coordination, rent collection, and even distribution of your cash flow. Everything is being managed through this software, and this software is basically has a paid subscription, which is per unit, and platform fee, which is being basically passed on to each property. And $15 is a very reasonable cost in these days and time for running that kind of operations on a property.
Right. How about LLC maintenance? What would be the percentage of that?
So LLC, depending on different states, there are two aspects to LLC maintenance. One, that because it's a partnership, so you will be filing the taxes for LLC, and we do have a CPA here, and he can talk. But uh, the tax filing for partnership, at the very simplest, is at least $400 on a yearly basis, and many states do require LLC annual reporting, which is in the range of $100 to $300 in different states. Some states may not even have any fee. So that fee is basically when you buy property in LLC, that fee you have to spend. So again, it will depend on the state. Some state may require a fee, some state may not require a fee, and depending on how we do the tax filing, I have a bulk rate tax filing where probably we will end up getting $250 for a simple one property partnership LLC tax filing. But again, these are I am booking as a provisional cost, and will get a complete clarity in a transparent way at the end of the year for the actual expenses. But what I'm sharing today is the most best accurate fee that you can see
That's
here.
right. Right. Okay. And one more thing is like the cash flow you mentioned for each of those houses, right? So that is based on the rent what we are seeing as of today, right?
Yes. So all the
And
properties are occupied and tenants are paying rent. And as the lease comes up for renewal, generally in the range of 5 to 10%, we increase the rent. Again, depending on the property to property, but you can always expect that the rent would go up. And I tend to contain any kind of increment in the uh, property tax and property insurance through my kind of leveraging and communication through the right authorities.
right. And what happens if the tenant moves out? And so in between, obviously, like Big Leap, I understand based on the earlier answer, like so Big Leap will try to find tenant and try to fill it as early as possible. And so that's how the process works, right? So there might maybe a few days or like few weeks or so, maybe we might see a dip in rent based on the occupancy and other status, right?
So this is a normal operation. Any property where a tenant vacates and a new tenant has to be put in, no matter how efficient you do, a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks will be required to possibly repaint the property, do the cleaning, put a new tenant. So that is actual loss of rent, which nobody can control. And sometimes it may end up recovering that loss because of you charge some move-in fee from the new tenant, you charge some move-out fee from the existing tenant, and there could be very efficient turnaround. But yes, uh, that's not something that anybody can control. It's all about being very efficient in those things, and Big Leap has been very efficient in filling the tenants in its properties that we already own. So we together as a co-owners will bear the loss of rent in that particular 2 week 4 week window when that situation happens. And that's why I basically focus that I want to build very, very positive relationships with my tenants so that we minimize the tenant turnaround or tenant move out situations. Most of my tenants are staying in properties for 3 plus years, and that's a good time frame.
Right. And what happens if someone wants to move out of the this investment? Let's say like if somebody has a 20% of the investment out of a property and they want to sell it off or like they want to come out of that.
So there are two provisions. This is a long term property. 75% ownership, whoever controls a group of people or a single person, if they own 75% of home, they can take the decision. And the decision could be, okay, sell the house, it's the right time, bad time, whatever, they sell the house and pay back every owner. That is one way of exiting. Second is, uh, you are only in the need of money, and you may want to convince everybody else that there is significant equity in the house, so why not, let's go for mortgage, and if there are favorable market interest rates, and if 75% owners agree to take mortgage on the property, everybody can take benefit of that cash out equity, and that can salvage your situation. Now, third is, if you want to completely move out of that property, then you have to find a buyer of your share. You are just a 10% or 20% owner, and rest of the owners are not agreeing to sell the property, not agreeing to take mortgage. Then you are on your own to find somebody who can buy your share, because it's a single family home and it's a co-ownership. So company will facilitate your transfer of share from you to anybody who is interested, but there cannot be any more role played by the company in that sense. Hope I'm clear on that.
Oh, yeah, you are clear. And yeah, thanks. And also, so the minimum investment from the big leap in any of these properties will be 10% at the minimum, but it can be more than that.
It starts with 100%.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, right. Okay. But at the least, if you get all the investment partners or like the people, so at the max you will be giving them 90% of it, but not 100%.
Yeah. So the dilution is available up to 90% only, and that's a condition that is even protected in the operating agreement.
Got it. Yeah. One more thing. Let's say a property stays on a rent for say a few years, and after that, let's say if property is not going on to rent, probably owners will bear it for a month or two. But how soon the loss of rent via insurance kicks in? Like how soon owners can start claiming it?
So loss of rent insurance is basically not for the situation where person is not interested in living in the house. When the property becomes non-habitable for the reason like, okay, there was a flood, there was a fire, there was vandalism, there was some kind of situation that made the property not suitable for living, renting. In that case, you get protection from insurance. For example, a tenant moved out and for whatever reason nobody is interested in renting your property, there is no recourse, literally. If there is such a bad situation that nobody is interested in renting your property despite all your efforts, then that's a kind of unheard situation, but you may try to sell or distress sell or whatever.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
So I have right now 21 homes, and I have not faced any situation where, like, in particularly November, December, January month, there are uh, lower mobilities in rental market. People do not move out or move in November, December, January, except for those couple of situations. In my so many years of renting, I have not faced even more than a 4 week window of not able to find a tenant. So
Okay,
typically, if you are in peak season, people are waiting to get into your property.
right. And like most of the time, this peak season is starting from what month? Like March, April?
So the most peak season is April to August, and again, if you leave November, December, January, rest of the year is still a safe period to rent. November, December, January, you may get stuck waiting for 2, 3, 4 weeks to find a tenant, but otherwise, excluding these 3 months, finding tenant is generally not a problem.
Got it. And most of the lease that we do is like on a yearly basis, 12 months.
Yes, I do always 12-month lease. On some specific request, I can do a 18 months or 2 years, but I always insist that rent will be increased after 12 months if you want a longer lease. If you want for some reason, like an existing tenant may want to say that, oh, I do want to renew the lease, but not for 12 months, but only for 6 months. I do charge a premium for a shorter time period. And if a particular tenant says that, oh, I don't want to renew my lease for 12 months, but can I stay month to month? Sure, you can, but you have to pay $150 extra every month. So uh, a new lease with a new tenant is always 12 months. A renewal with existing tenants can be month to month, can be 6 months, can be 12 months. And I basically fix the market rent and charge a premium of $150 for month to month,
Mhm.
$75 for less than 12 months, and at par with for 12 months.
Okay.
And coming to the states or like the places where you will be actively looking, are there any specific areas or like states you will be looking for this property especially, or um, yeah?
So I I generally avoid those states where the uh, landlord tenant rule or laws are in favor of tenant. So I stick to states which are more landlord friendly. That's one criteria. Second criteria is where the property tax rates are more favorable for landlords versus owners. Thirdly, I look at those criteria where the business license requirements are not stringent. And finally, I look for those kind of markets, whether it's county specific, city specific, or uh, state specific, where the laws related to evictions and the turnaround time for evictions are easier. So these are the criteria which are kind of give me a good list of 10 plus states, and I look for markets in those. So currently sourcing and present in Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, uh, Michigan, Tennessee, those kind of states, and my experience so far had been good. There are states like Texas which have very high property tax but very landlord friendly. You can get evictions easily done, and then you get a very good cash flow in certain markets. So overall, it has to make the financial sense. As I mentioned, there are three stages in my deal analysis. One stage is purely financial. Second stage is purely the tenant landlord laws and regulations. And thirdly, ease of doing business in that particular state, county, and all that.
Okay. So in case the any rental issues, right? Like maybe some maintenance issues, and also those are some normal regular issues. And starting from that, and going going to the some extent of somebody not really paying the rent, and some legal action need to be taken. So who will take care of these regular maintenance issues, and to the all the way extent of like taking some legal action if needed based on the need. So is it Big Leap investment responsible for that, or like will be co-owners will be responsible for all of
No,
this?
no. So Big Leap is responsible for all of this. We have an in-house team which basically looks through each maintenance request and issues related to rent not payable or all those kind of things. If it comes to actually proceeding with a eviction filing in a court, then we have established law firms with whom we work and pre-negotiated rates who file the evictions for us and get things done. But most of the processes which do not require a licensed attorney or a licensed person to pitch in, all those jobs are done by Big Leap Investing in-house.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Sure.
one
Thanks.
more
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
So,
Robert.
what happens if there is some legal issue and if somebody comes after it, they'll come after Big Leap, or would be coming after the co-owners if
So
something happens. Let's say
neither
the
Big
worst
Leap,
case.
no, neither co-owners. Every property is titled to its own LLC, and if there is any legal litigation involved, it will be with the LLC that owns the property. So we all will be the co-owners of that LLC, but litigation will always remain at the LLC level. And if the litigation is with respect to um, if it is with respect to say title insurance, then the insurance company handles. If it is any insurance related, property insurance related, then the property insurance company will handle. There could be litigation, something like, oh, I was on your property, and let's say because of your poor workmanship, something kind of fell down from the roof, and it hit me on the head, and I'm hospitalized. So these are the things that first insurance company takes care, and then eventually it is at the LLC level that it has to kind of settle that dispute. None
And
of
so
us co-owners will be individually responsible, or even it will not even permeate through the LLC structure.
but the fees involved would be shared across all the co-owners and
Yeah,
everybody,
so
right?
we all co-owners will be responsible for entire fee, and as long as the insurance takes care of the litigations, there is no fee. There is only
I
change
see.
in the insurance premium.
Got it. And in terms of the cash flow, going back to earlier comment, so if the cash flow per month is $800 and there are 10 people, so even Big Leap would get the 10% of the cash flow going in because they all have 10% ownership.
So everyone who is a listed co-owner, uh, there is a percentage ownership listed against their name. So all that co-owners will share that same percentage of cash flow.
But for example, one of the property was listed at 100,000. The ownership of 10% ownership is more than 10,000, right? So means we are paying more than the 10%,
You are
but
paying $100,000 to acquire 90% of the ownership. So the
okay,
property acquisition cost is 100,000 that was invested by Big Leap. But now Big
okay,
Leap wants to dilute 90% of that ownership in lieu of the 100% of acquisition cost. Otherwise, why will I or Big Leap will be
yeah,
doing the whole job?
makes sense. Yeah, but other than the initial 10%, there's no fees going to Big
Yeah,
Leap. You're saying,
yeah.
other than the guy.
So once we become co-owners, then all are on equal privileges. There is no difference in the privileges. The difference is only in terms of the percentage ownership. Privileges are same, and you all co-owners have appointed Big Leap as a actor,
Okay,
and you can change that acting part as well, as long as you all can with a 75% majority decide that, oh, we don't want Big Leap to be doing this job, we want somebody else to be doing the job.
okay. And at the end of the year, we get some like tax forms, like what are the tax documents will be reported
All
from.
co-owners will be the co-owners in LLC, and you guys will be getting schedule K1. All your income would be reflected on the schedule K1 generated by that LLC.
Okay. And you were mentioning about some tax benefits and tax thing. Those would be something which, as a co-owner, we need to work with our CPAs and tax consultants,
No,
right?
so LLC is the owner of the property. LLC will be filing the tax return for LLC, which takes care of all the tax benefits associated with the real estate in terms of depreciation, expenses, and all that. After all that, the Schedule K1 will be generated, and that Schedule K1 you will include in your 1040 as a business income. And there are relevant provisions for taking qualified business tax deductions and all that. I'm not a CPA. I cannot advise you on that. But if you talk to your own CPA, there may be advantages. You will get a K1 from your co-ownership, and how your CPA guides in treating that K1 for any tax benefit is up to you and your CPA.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you. That's all from me.
All right. One more.
So one more question. So let's say like if property is ready and if let's say like two people are joined at the beginning and like 50% and 40% each, and the remaining 10% will be from the big leap.
Mhm.
Then after um, no, no. Actually, let me reframe my question. So, someone starts with two or three partners with a big leap holding like a good percentage, and maybe after 3 months or 6 months, if some other investor comes and wants to purchase maybe 10 or 20% from the big leap. So that means like LLC, the new partner will be just simply added to the LLC, and the big leaf will take care of all the documentation or whatever it is needed to make him as the new partner for as part of this LLC, right?
So it's a very simple thing. It's a transfer of percentage ownership from one member to any other member. It can be Big Leap who wants to sell his percentage ownership, or it can be you. For example, it's only you who bought 40% share in a home at the beginning. Now, once the house has appreciated in value, or you feel in need of some cash, you may want to sell your 20% to somebody else, and if somebody else is willing to give you a good price, you can do that. Big Leap as a business has established this model where, yes, we start Big Leap with 100% ownership and continue to dilute until we reach to a minimum bottom point of 10%. So anytime in between, we may decide what price point we need to sell or to. For example, the property that we are closing on Monday is currently being offered for $100,000, which is the actual acquisition cost. But I may not have the motivation to sell my share at $100,000 price point after Monday. After Monday, I may increase the price point to 105,000. If there are takers, good. That's how you take the advantage of being the early stage co-investors. So you, once you become a co-owner, if you want to sell your share, go and find the buyer who can pay you the right price, and you are free. Similar way, Big Leaf will continue to dilute its holding until it reaches a bottom point of 10%.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, sure. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Vanu, unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I just have a quick question. So we acquired this property for 100K, right? So at like 5 years down the line, if you want to sell that property, I mean, that property appreciated like 200, twice or something like to 200K, like. So at that point, if you want to sell off, like, would the same percentage of ownership applies on that profit, or like, how does it
Yeah,
work?
it's exactly same. After, at any point in time, the percentage ownership that you have in the company remains same, right? Until unless you sell your share. So
Mhm.
again, I would say we only would have a different percentage ownership, but we have exactly same privileges. So if the house today is $100,000 value and you own 10% of the house, you are owning a valuation of $10,000. If the house becomes $200,000 at some point in time and you still have 10% share, your valuation becomes $20,000.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And the next question is like, if suppose I'm interested in a property, like what is the maximum number of co-owners can be in one property? Like, is there a limit there,
So
or?
yes, the maximum is like my choice is to have no more than six, but the maximum in a property can be nine. So minimum anybody can buy is 10%. There are some properties where I will keep minimum as 15%, and that means that if the minimum is 15%, it will be six members together, and if it is minimum 9%, 10%, then it will be nine co-owners, except the Big Leap.
So the big leaf will lip you, I mean, you guys will be setting that for each of the property that could vary then. How
Yes,
many number of corner, what
depends on,
percentage they can have.
yeah.
Okay.
One of the
And
guiding principle is to have a very low investment price point. So, for example, if the property purchase price is $200,000, so the minimum 10% is $20,000. So, in that case, I would keep it at 10%. But for the property of $100,000, I feel that 15% is still a low amount. So that's how I will dictate. And we are not going to buy anything less than $100,000. So you can safely assume that most of the properties will have a minimum investment of 10%.
okay, so there is this one property and like 20 people are interested in the same thing. How would you pick the people? Like,
there is no picking the people. First come, first serve.
Okay, so I mean, is there a way we can track online, like who is putting an offer for that property?
The simple funda is, if
Mhm.
I have given you a go ahead to transfer your funds, that means you have got it. If I have given you a go ahead and you have not transferred the funds within 24 hours, then you are not sure of getting once your funds are in the company's bank account, you are co-owner. If your funds are not in bank account, that means either I have not asked you to deposit the funds because there is no slot available, or you delayed transferring the funds. So we are
Oh,
still a
okay.
very small organization. We are not a very like 100 people company yet. We want to be there at some point in time. So right now, if you express interest, you will get to know whether there is a slot available or not. And if you
Mhm.
act quickly, then you are guaranteed.
Oh, okay. So, like, you have the 100%, like, if only there's only one co-owner who is interested, they still can participate in that property, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay, got it. Uh,
So for
and
example, the
Mhm.
hot property which is closing on Monday, I got only two shares left for that property, and those two shares, if I receive the funds by Monday, will be sold at a price point of $100,000. But if I don't get the funds by Monday, I am revising the price point to $105,000 Tuesday onwards.
I see. Okay, got it. And sorry, one last question. So once we became the co-owner, like, can we have a cost analysis sheet, like for that property? What all costs would be involved being a co-owner for that
So
property?
even before co-owner, you have transparently access to all information in my Google Drive. And if you have not requested access, you can request access. But in my Google Drive, you have the actual cost analysis of all the properties. Once you become co-owner, you will actually be given access to the online software where every single transaction will be there. So again, let me say it, one of my core value is honesty and transparency. You will see everything that I can see. There is nothing that I can only see and you cannot see. So
Mhm.
everything, every calculation, every uh, part of the acquisition cost, you will be able to see. There is absolutely no difference between you and me, except that the big leap investing is also acting on the decisions, and the responsibility to act is on big leap. Even the decision making is democratized.
Yes, I was just asking about the acquisition cost and also the operation cost after we acquire, actually. So, I mean, it's better to know upfront, like what are the different costs involved, actually,
Yep.
without giving hidden surprises again. Like,
Yep,
so,
absolutely. No hidden thing
okay,
ever. And even before becoming co-owner, you have access to information.
okay, sounds good. Yeah, that's it I had. Thank you.
All right.
So
Anyone
one
else?
last question, actually.
Mhm.
So if you're in the process of acquiring a property and you're looking for this co-owners, right? Is there like an escrow account associated with it in case the property doesn't close in time? So what would happen?
So the property that is in acquisition process, I only open it for co-ownership once all the contingencies are done away. Once basically the closing is confirmed, right? Now,
Hmm.
while there is no escrow account, but yes, if there is, let's say, unfortunate situation of that we are not able to close that property for whatsoever reason, then if the funds were received from any co-owners, that the funds will be returned back as it is.
And we would be notified like when if that situation
Yep.
arises,
So
right?
from the day you become co-owner, whether the property is in the process of purchase or the purchase has been completed, the day you become co-owners, you will get to see everything that I'm seeing.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking is there was some recent incident in one of the crowdsourcing platform. They collected funds, but they didn't close the property in time, and the funds were transferred to the buyer illegally, and then most of the investors lost their money. So what is the protection for investors like this before you close the property? That's the question.
So I think what we can probably add, and thanks for pointing that out, even though this situation I don't really see happening, but uh, I will always issue a kind of uh, promissory note or some kind of instrument saying that this particular receipt of funds is uh, parked against the closing of this particular property. If it so doesn't happen, then the funds are supposed to be returned. So this will be something that we will be able to provide you in writing. Obviously, if my intention is to commit fraud, then we probably will get into the litigation process. But to some extent, I would say that I'm providing you the legal safeguards, but eventually, a lot is also in terms of my credibility, trust on me has to be understood, because even if you want to pursue legally, it's a long drawn process. But I would
Yeah.
say that the moment I receive the funds, I will issue a kind of promissory note or a intent to invest that this fund is only and only for application towards closing of this property. If it doesn't happen, then the funds are to be returned.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
And also, most of the thing is, again, you will be putting the funds exactly in the same LLC which is buying the property, and that LLC is created only for the purpose of that property. For example, if you are buying property, let's say 304 Silver Age Avenue in Memphis, then the LLC name is 304 Silver Age Tennessee LLC, and you are putting funds exactly in that LLC only. So you are not,
Okay.
in most of the cases, you are not going to contribute your funds into Big Leap Investing LLC account. You will be contributing it into the LLC account of the LLC which is buying the property.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Any more questions? This has been a very helpful discussion, and thanks for so much of participation.